consequential match that we ever had. And I would think that, in all fairness to Steve, back in those days, he would get a little nervous. He was pretty intense and anxious, I think, about working with me. And I think it showed him when I worked with him that he was which was I remember thinking, I don't know what else we can do to top that match. And of course, you find ways to top it. But I thought it was a great match. I thought it was one of those kind of situations where, I stayed in pretty good shape when I was out for a long time, and I felt really ready for that match. But I would say that it was one of those situations where fans out there, which worked against them sometimes.
Sure.
But I think that I gave him some kind of a confidence, or something happened to Steve after that match that, like when I wrestled him at WrestleMania, he was just that much more improved and more. I think he started to find his. They say find your voice, but he started to find his style.
But everybody's talking about best match in the world, best wrestling match ever.
Just because wrestling evolves and changes, and you watch some of these old wrestling matches of Buddy Rogers and Pat O'Connor and stuff, and you go, that was the greatest match back in 1962 or something. But there's certain matches that you always remember, for the hype or the just the way they come out. And I think it's impossible to say one match is the best. I think the one missing ingredient that I would sort of not allow me to say that was the greatest match of all time is just the fact that there's no audience. You got to have the third ingredient. You got two great wrestlers, but you got to have a wrestling audience. And unfortunately,
Were you guys having some conversations leading up to this matchup?
Yeah, I think I tried to give him some advice on, he was a little bit uncomfortable with the idea of trying to have, declare himself, especially before you have it, of having the greatest match of all time.
Limitations that Randy and Edge were kind of a little bit handcuffed with. Go out and you're going to have the greatest wrestling match of all time, but there's no fans, and you can't do this and you can't do that. I always find personally the best wrestlers take their circumstances and they make, pardon my language, chicken salad out of chicken.
And Fox, and he want to go out there and do something stupid like that. It's not a good idea, but I would, let me just put it out there, for these old guys to be running back in the ring because it's a young man's game.
Punk, do you have a silver lining on this?
I'm not really sure I can add anything to the discussion at this point that Mark and Booker haven't already said. I'm just happy to be here. I wasn't supposed to.
Status, but as a kid that understands what's going on, he's right there. Everything that he did looked solid. He did it in a way that it didn't look like he was trying to play wrestling, that he was a wrestler, and I was proud.
Book, what'd you think about it?
Yeah, I like seeing Dominic get the rub. You know what I mean? I always talk about the rub. This kid is getting baptized right now.
Like a good storyline or a good...
Oh, there it is right there. That was the first time Brett and I worked right there. And the reason I remember that is because I was so excited knowing Bret Hart was going to be making his arrival in WCW. And I was like a fan almost, and I finally got a chance. I'm going to wrestle Bret Hart. And I'm still feeling like a fan on the inside. And then